Hey guys, so today is going to be a tech vlog of a slightly different color. It's going to be less about the movements that we do with our hands and our poi, and more about the movements that we do with our bodies as we're performing poi tricks. I've done a little bit of work on footwork on this blog before, but this is going to be something slightly different and more gestalt in terms of how the body functions. Namely, I've been studying modern dance pretty regularly for the past 3 years, and I've really been struggling to find ways of taking the body mechanics that I'm learning there and how I've been applying them to poi and break them into bite-sized enough chunks that I can really get them out in a tech blog. But I think I've found one that can fit into a bite-sized enough chunk that will work here. So what we're talking about today is the concept of undercurves and overcurves, and the basic pieces that we need to perform these tricks. Well, the basic pieces that we need to perform these movements are pliés and relevés. I'm going to be dropping a lot of dance terminology in this video. Don't worry if none of it sticks. Quite frankly, most of it still doesn't stick for me. But essentially where we're going to start out is you're going to have your feet together, your toes both pointed in the same direction, and you're going to essentially open up your feet such that your feet create a little V. And as far as you can move, just standing there is really about as far turnout as your hips can support. This is a movement that comes from up here rather than down around your ankles or your knees, right? This is really important actually because there's a good chance you can injure yourself with some of the stuff that we're going to be trying a little later on. So don't think of this as a competition to see how wide you can get them. Some people have a really wide turnout, some people have a very narrow one. My turnout is pretty close to 90 degrees. I think it's just under it. I've seen people that can get upwards of like 180 degrees, but once again, this is not a competition. Go with where you're comfortable. Once you're there, you're going to play around with these two elements, relevé and plié. You're going to start off with relevé. Relevé is it's basically just French for standing on your toes, right? But in terms of the body dynamics you want to think of when you're performing this, you want to think of it as being that you are pushing with your feet so hard into the ground that you rise straight up, yeah? And this is in contrast to, if you imagine that you're going to focus on going up. Now, from this position, you can see that I've got my shoulders and upper body engaged in it, and thus, if I make any alterations to what my upper body is doing, by definition, it makes my form more unstable. Whereas if I come from it from this place of pushing myself up rather than reaching up, all of a sudden my upper body is free to do whatever it wants now without making my position too unstable. Yeah? Cool. The next one we're going to play with is plié, which is basically you're going to bend your knees and rise back up. When you're performing plié, it's really tempting to kind of like bend yourself over. You really want to think of this as being that you're kind of letting the muscle on the front of your ankle relax. And what you're going to find then is, once again, your upper body is going to stay disengaged from this. And also, your tailbone is going to go straight down such that it's going to feel like you're kind of sitting down on an invisible ledge before coming back up. As you're doing this, check to make sure that your knees are tracking directly above your feet. This is how you can be sure that you're in the proper turnout. If your knees are going inward, then you've turned too far out. If they're going bow-legged like that, then your turnout is a little too narrow. But now that we've got those two basic elements, let's put them together into some curves. So you're going to open up into what the dance folk out there are going to recognize as kind of a wide second. Right here, you're basically looking to have your heels just out past your shoulders. And once again, you're going to be in that turnout. The angle between your feet is going to be identical to the angle you had with them together. Do not turn further out. Do not make it more narrow. It just is good body dynamics. So what we're going to play with first is an undercurve. So what you're going to do is you're going to plie, but you're only going to do it with one leg at a time. So for example, I'm going to start with my left leg and plie on down. Once again, my upper body is disengaged so I can do whatever I want with it. And then I'm going to plie with my right leg. And now you'll notice that my feet are spread out, my tailbone's down, my upper body is straight up in such a way that I can move around to my heart's content. And now I'm going to re-engage my left leg and then re-engage my right leg. Yeah? So it's plie left, plie right, re-engage left, re-engage right. And as you see, what that does is it causes your pelvis to essentially move around in a U shape. You can also go through a reverse, so on and so forth, right? Now, this is an undercurve. The inverse of this is an overcurve. So, for example, I can go up on releve with my left foot, then go up on releve with my right foot, come back down on my left foot, come back down on my right foot. When you do this a little bit faster, there's a little bit of give in your knees as you go up and over. So this is our overcurve, right? Now, if you combine these two elements together, what you get is a way of getting your pelvis to move around in a circle, right? Now let's say that you're going to add some arm movements into this, and I'm the biggest fan of doing same time, same direction as this is going on, such that I have a kind of matching in motion between what my pelvis is doing and what my hands are doing, right? It adds another level of engagement to the audience, and what's really cool about it is it actually saves your shoulders a little bit, since the root of the motion now is coming from your body core rather than your shoulders. Also, because if you think about the hands as tracking together and the pelvis as being a separate point, we now have access to all 4 timing and direction combinations between the two as well. So for example, if we wanted to, we could also think of this as being split time, same direction. Wait. There we go. Or maybe same time opposites. Or split time opposites, right? So that would be more like this. Having both options open, well, all 4 of those options open to us opens up the possibilities of how we can add visual dynamics to those types of movements, right? And it's also really helpful when it comes to moving outside of the body center. Like, say, if you wanted to do turns or move to the side. If you wanted to take it from a place where, say, your hips and your hands are moving around clockwise in the same time, same direction, what you can find is that as you go up and over, you're going to come down in such a way that you're going to want to hop back out and complete the same motion on the other side before dropping into an undercurve back on the other side. So to break that down, it's as you go up and over, you're going to switch position, and as you come back up, you're going to stick out your foot to catch you as you go to that overcurve. And as you come back, you're going up. And once again, you're going to drop into that undercurve as you're going around. Yeah? So it looks like this. Add in the point motion to it. And you have a nice visually balanced way of turning. You can also shift in place laterally by doing what's called a pas de bourrée, I believe it's called. In which case, you start from that undercurve place, and what you do is, as you're going up, you're going to step behind with one foot, open, step in front, and then step open again and come back down. So I really like doing this with a hybrid, for example. So as I'm performing my hybrid, I can go up and come back down. Yeah? Whoops. There's a little bit of a pause that happens up there. Cool. So that is some very, very, very basic dance that you can do with some boys. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. Have a good week. Peace.